Jaron Namir is a mechanically augmented soldier and one of the main antagonists of Deus Ex Human Revolution. He acts as the field commander of the elite Black Ops team known as the Tyrants, and also as a private military contractor for Bell Tower Associates. Hey guys, welcome back to another Cyberpunk Mondays. In this week we are doing our final video on the Tyrants and their three sort of main members that make appearances during the Deus Ex Human Revolution game. And we're going to finish off with Jaron Namir, the leader. I think in a previous video I was calling him Jaron Namir. It was just an oversight on my behalf, but it is actually Jaron Namir. Namir leads a double life. One where he serves as the merciless leader of an augmented mercenary group, and the other a more private life in which he spends with his wife and two children. When he was just 19 years old, his sister Melina was actually killed during a supposed car accident in Haifa. He was subsequently recruited into Israel's intelligence agency at an unspecified time later. The Mossad and psychological profiling conducted there indicated a deep-seated guilt over Melina's death. Jaron later named his daughter after her. Ben Saxon, another member of the Tyrants, speculates that his scars and augmentations are due to injuries sustained during the Pan-Arab invasion and occupation of Israel. Later he formed the secret Black Ops team, the Tyrants, and then became the leader of Bell Tower's elite special operations unit. As a Tyrant operative, he actually worked in secret for the Illuminati, performing clandestine operations. He later recruited Lawrence Barrett, Yelena Fedorova, both with recent videos on this channel, Scott Hardesty and Joe Wexler. In 2027, he and the group attacked the meeting between Senator Jane Schuyler and Garrett Dansky, CEO of Caden Global. They assassinated Dansky, but they let Senator Schuyler live, and newly recruited Gunther Herman killed Secret Service agent Matt Ryan. However, his partner, Agent Ann Kelso, killed Wexler in retaliation. She suffered stomach injuries, but did actually survive. To replace Wexler, Namir, presumably under orders from the Illuminati, attacked Bell Tower Strike Team 6 during fake Operation Rainbird, killing all team members save for Ben Saxon, who was left to recover in an SAF hospital later. Namir then approached him with a proposition to join the Tyrants, an independent special operations team that does not follow the rigidity of more official groups. After Namir promised to help track down the people responsible for Team 6's deaths, Saxon agreed to join. Namir sent Saxon, Herman and Hardesty to the Hotel Novo Rostov in Moscow to kill Mikhail Kontarsky, administrator of the Russian Committee on Human Augmentation. The mission was a success, but Ben and Gunther were both tased and knocked out on board the Tyrant's private plane and brought into a small room in Jaron's home. When they awoke, Jaron explained that one of them would be a traitor to the group and the two must fight to the death to determine which. He threw a handgun with one single round and the two then fought over it. Ben eventually managed to get the pistol, but then refuses to kill Gunther. Namir then revealed that the fight was just a test between the two and the round was actually a blank. During the events of Human Revolution and Icarus Effect, so at Romeo Airport in Michigan, the Tyrant's base of operations, Jaron and the group were planning an attack on Sarif Industries headquarters in Detroit to stop them from sharing their research of controlled and perfected human evolution of the world, and also to kidnap their top scientists before they could converge with the National Science Board in Washington, D.C. To do so, Jaron sent Saxon, Hardesty and Herman to Virginia to kill Ron Temple of the Secret Service. At Sarif Industries, Jaron, Barrett and Fedorova killed most of the scientists. Jaron disarmed and brutally wounded the head of security Adam Jensen by throwing him through a thick plane of glass. But when he was about to deliver the finishing blow, Megan Reed threw a barrel of corrosive substance at him, which covered and wounded Namir, forcing him to drop Adam. Namir backhanded Megan, knocking her unconscious, and then turned around to shoot Adam in the head with his Diamondback .357. After the attack, once they'd gone back to Romeo Airport, Namir mentioned to the group that they were planning another major operation in Europe and that Yelena was currently handling a job of her own. Once in the air, Hardesty warned Namir that Saxon was a liability who was too sympathetic to be useful in their operations. But Namir reminded him that Saxon was experienced enough to be useful regardless, and that everyone on the team was expendable if necessary. Later aboard the plane, Namir entered the killing floor where Saxon was reading Namir's terminal and next mission, and admitted that he was responsible for Strike Team 6's failure. Saxon, armed only with a stun gun, shot the terminal, causing a power failure and setting off several fire alarms, but was cut off by the other members. passengers. With no other means of escape, Saxon opened the cargo bay doors and jumped out into the sky above the Atlantic Ocean. Once in Geneva, Switzerland, the Tyrants planned to assassinate Humanity Front founder Bill Taggart on the steps of the Palais des Nations. The assassination would make him a martyr for the anti-org cause and push for a vote on UN regulations on mechanical augmentation. To prevent Saxon from interfering with their plan, Jaron detonated the plane, took Anna Kelso hostage, and blackmailed Saxon to killing Taggart himself in plain public view. On board the Icarus yacht, Namir learnt about the failed assassination of Taggart and the death of Hardesti. The 3 remaining Tyrants planned to fly to a remote base by eVTOL, taking Anna with them. Just as they were about to take off, the cockpit opened and Saxon emerged, having already killed the pilot. Namir decided to challenge Saxon to a one-on-one fight and was eager to avenge Hardesti. With his advanced combat augmentations, Namir easily overpowered Saxon. But at the last moment, Saxon pulled out a Zenith pistol that he'd snagged from the pilot. He shot Namir in the chest 3 times, which managed to subdue him, even with his dermal orgs, most likely due to the injuries he had sustained back at Sarif Industries. Saxon trained a gun on Namir's head, but Barrett threatened to kill Anna if he killed their leader. Saxon lowered his gun and begrudgingly let them go again. With the police closing in, the Tyrants left by VTOL, claiming that the media would turn the day's events in their favour, even with half of their team dead or missing. They flew off, leaving Saxon and Kelso to die aboard the Icarus. In Paris, a young Morgan Everett and Lucius de Beers recollected about the operation in Geneva, and Morgan claimed that even with Taggart alive, the assassination attempt had pushed the UN to hold a conference on regulating mechanical augmentation, just as Namir said. 6 months after the Sarif Industries attack, Namir, Barrett and Fedorova, along with several bell tower operatives, were in the lower levels of an abandoned bot factory complex in Highland Park, which also served as a front for a FEMA internment camp. Here they met with a newly augmented Adam Jensen, and Jaron ordered Barrett to get rid of him before slipping away with Fedorova. Though Jensen would defeat Barrett and obtain the location of Windmill from him, Namir would once again escape. In Singapore, Jensen would meet Namir once again in a private section of the Omega Ranch. There, Jensen also encounters Zhao Yunru, who had attempted to disable Jensen with her universal kill switch. If Jensen had opted for the free biochip upgrade at Hengsha Limb Clinic, kill switch would actually shut off all of his augmentations, making the upcoming boss fight significantly harder. Namir would then reveal himself and engage Jensen with the words, "You should have stayed dead, Jensen," and Jensen would be forced to kill him once and for all. Before Namir died, Jensen demanded that he reveal Megan's location, and Namir told Jensen that he had lost Megan and that men like us, we never get back the things we love, which was possibly referencing his sister. Namir, being a Tyrant, was significantly more augmented than the average person. It's perhaps the most augmented character in the game, with over 90% of his body being completely mechanized. His most noticeable augmentations are a unique set of dermal armor and mechanical limbs, designed in tribute to the human musculoskeletal system, with minor changes such as 2-toed feet and a thinner torso section. Namir's head appears to be the only biological part of his person, aside from his left eye. It is covered in numerous grooves and bolts reminiscent of electronic implants. These implant points lie along the scar lines on his face, and it can be assumed that Namir has most, if not all, the augmentations available to the player in the game, as shown by his combat prowess. We'll do some trivia, and Namir's design was inspired by the developers viewing the Body World exhibition in Montreal in 2007. The exhibition encouraged the developers to give Namir augmentations that resemble visible muscle, ligaments, and cartilage. An entire squad of assassins were initially intended to have this flayed open design, but ultimately it was given solely to Namir. The design features in his boss fight, in which he is able to blend in with Body World statues in order to ambush Jensen. His voice actor is a guy by the name of Michael Rudder. He's listed as 5'11" as well. Some bugs. In the boss fight under Omega Ranch, it is actually possible to perform a takedown on Namir. He must be cloaked, and in the middle of the animation where he jumps over the paneling towards the player, strategy is only applicable in the original game and not the director's cut edition. Even though the animation shows Namir being hit by a non-lethal takedown, he would still be dead when the sequence is over. Director's cut version. In the boss fight under Omega Ranch, it is possible to perform a non-lethal takedown on Namir as he is going into cloak mode on a staircase right after his grenade throwing animation. And that's all we've got on Jaron Namir. What do you think about him as an enemy and as the sort of one of the main bosses before the kind of Hiram project? I really liked him. I like all of the Tyrants. I think they were an excellent guys or proxy for the Illuminati, as Jensen needed some proper boss fights in a game. And Jaron Namir, I'm still haunted by that sort of line just before he dies. I'll say it again just to leave this video on that note. Before I say it though, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate all of you, and I look forward to seeing you next Monday for another Cyberpunk Mondays, and I'll finish with this.
Like us, we never get back the things we love.